What is up, everybody? It's Verta here, and thank you so much for stopping by as always. I do hope you enjoy those update videos as much as I enjoy making them. But today we have leaks, major brutal leaks, and of course leaks imply spoilers, so be warned for this video very well, because if you get yourself spoiled and I have warned you in the beginning and you have just skipped, sorry fellas, I can't really do much about it. But today we will touch upon the latest global labs which was released and what await for us in the Demon Land, specifically around the big baddies in there, the, well, 3 bosses. The first thing that is next right now on our radar is the Gladios. The Gladios is the finale of Atoraxxion, the culmination of Ruxmahad Dekia's story, or in other words, Sage, by us confronting Illezra and learning her motifs. Today's Global Labs is basically a heartfelt thank you from Pearl Abyss in regards to the story which took a long time for Atoraxxion to be pushed out. And we have some crazy art with Illezra, the final boss battle, the entrance and where precisely we will fight. We see a little bit of Thornwood, we see a little bit of that other side of Atoraxxion, the grim, the dark, the finale. It is upon us. And speaking of those particular leaks, see, our Russian friends who have been notoriously famous for cutting into those particular files and being able to dig into what is going on, and they say the following: the development fight with the Illezra has been finished, and Illezra will use her black spirits within that fight. Now, we did see a small glimpse. PA actually themselves showed that to us, like a very small little segment, which was all about just getting that feel of Illezra. And they said themselves that this will be a complicated fight. They don't want this to be easy. But speaking of those leaks in particular, well, Pearl Abyss did a little bit of an oopsie, and it has nothing to do even with the leakers. Pearl Abyss failed on this one. See, when they shipped the latest knowledge to Orzhikea, unfortunately they shipped with Orzhikea by probably a complete accident, at least I think so. They shipped the knowledge for the Gladios and all that is going to happen inside, and yours truly spoiled himself. Now, once again, if you don't want to get spoiled into what happened in Gladios before we get into the Demon Lands, then of course click away, but this is your final warning. Well, let's get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, we will not lose against Illezra, we will win, but she doesn't perish. And there's plenty of leaks and there's plenty of talks about some other people that might have joined leagues with her. All of a sudden Jordine appears. All of a sudden Illezra is like, I will not fall here. You will see what you truly are in Edania. And from then on we begin the progress of moving, the transitioning towards the Demon Lands, basically Edania. Something very important is literally a day ago in the maintenance, PA randomly put a quest in the game available through the Black Spirit calls Mysterious Rumors or Neat Rumors or something neat it was called, where we talk about coarser lore, pretty much, the mermaids of Margoria, which is something that we never thought that we will ever get. And not just this, a lot more depths about the Urzekan Empire, when and how far it spanned. And turns out that, well, the merfolk, so to be called, they will play a major role into the Demon Lands, specifically to the western side. So this might not be Demon Lands Part 1, this might turn out to be Demon Lands Part 2. For the people that do not know, right now, rumor around goes, the birds are singing that it's going to be Demon Lands Part 1, followed up with Dawnbreak, which is Mountain of Eternal Winter Part 2, the finale of the Dragon lore, let's just say it like this, finding our boy Caphras, we're going to talk about him in a minute, and then proceed with Edania, which will be the end of Black Desert story. But now we got to talk about the second bit of those leaks, and we got to really get into a little bit of a very faulty translation here from the leakers. We got to talk first about Ensla. Ensla is the mother of the Valkyries. She is the most important Valkyrie. She sacrificed, presumably herself, according to the Valkyrie mythos, for the opportunity to seal Zarka and send his soul back into the abyss, whatever that may be, or like to the dark below. We don't really have a perfect way to sentence this in particular, but Ensla was presumably lost. I have an entire video about that theory. You guys can go check it out. It's super depth. But nevertheless, the Ensla fight will happen in Edania, and it states the following. In the battle with Ensla, the player will encounter mechanics dedicated to manipulating fragments of light and darkness and summoning figures that Ensla will reveal in battle. Her mechanics are randomized and have several variations. So we're looking at something like a trick, something like foolishness. We're getting a contrast, obviously, of light and dark. Why does Ensla have dark? I have spoken about that in the particular video, which is also may or may not be tied to a class, maybe? Necromancer? Who knows? The next part is we got to talk about Caphras. Now, I cannot just avoid Caphras here. You need to understand that Caphras is the most important character in our present day. And it's not the Caphras stone, no. The person that named the Caphras stone, or rather, the Caphras stone was named after them. This is Caphras, the immortal alchemist, literally the most important figure in our mythos currently. He is powerful. He is old. He is the son that abandoned the elvish goddess Sylvia to go into servitude of her doom. He is literally the polarization. He is evil, and I don't want him to die because he is what we like to call lawful evil. The battle with Caphras, the players will encounter an elf transformed into something with claws and a tail, throwing meteorites onto the battlefield. His transformation is presumably associated with Ibidor and certain sprout of a new tree. This is like a great little lore leak that we just found because Ibidor has been gone for a long time. We don't know what happened with him. Last we checked, he was killed by a faulty advertisement of an outfit for Hashashin, and we think that's retcon at this point, but Ibidor has nowhere to be seen. There's plenty of theories around him, but we gotta talk about a sprout of a new tree. Of course, elves, trees, if it's there, then it's Doom influence, then it's a portal, then it leads to Elvia, etc, etc. We're looking for some grandiose culmination in Edania. His transformation is presumably associated with Ibidor, as they say. Also, the fight with Caphras is divided into two parts. The fight with his humanoid essence, the normal one, and with his apparently transformed one. It is worth remembering that the main story of Caphras should be in the Mountain of Dawn, or in other words, Dawnbreak. This is the last remnant of Caphras. We have no idea how he exited the Altar of Blood. That's the last we heard of him. He went into the Altar of Blood to seek for Zarka, and now he is in Edania. So how he got out, we have no idea, and probably Dawnbreak will touch upon this because he might have exited through there. And this is a little bit of a part which I love, and it means so much to me because the finale of this leak says his appearance is being prepared more carefully than the other bosses in Edania. This to me means the world because he is my favorite character, and Pearl Abyss are being careful with him. They want to not downplay him. They want literally the most important individual in our lore in modern times to be a big badass. At least I read it as such. And last but not least, a tight little bit of a mention, the Wukong icon came to the Global Labs. Fun times. Alright guys, there is plenty of Demon Lands leaks. We are being prepped right now. The conversations are stirring all towards it. Quests are being prepared for us. New content. The Gladios. I cannot wait for the Gladios next week, if we get it next week. And honestly, I'm here for it. I love you guys. Mwah. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, as always, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.